Hamish and Andy's Gap Year is a Logie Award-winning comedy series following Hamish Blake and Andy Lee, a pair of Australian comedians, on their trips to various international locations. The first season saw the boys visiting America for 10 episodes and broadcast their show weekly from New York City. In its second season in 2012, the show was titled Hamish and Andy's Euro Gap Year, and 7 episodes were broadcast from the Lord Stanley, a disused pub in East London, England. The third season, known as Hamish and Andy's Gap Year Asia in 2013, was broadcast from a bar in Bangkok, Thailand, called the Raintree. The concept for the show was created when the Nine Network hired comedians Hamish Blake and Andy Lee for 2 series in 2 years. They came across the idea of gap year when they realized they never took a gap year after high school, so they would film their many adventures overseas, as it was ironic that they had just received a contract for TV. Segments: a number of regular segments appear throughout the series. Safari: Hamish and Andy visit various interesting locations and meet interesting people. For these adventures, the boys dress in purpose-built safari costumes. Hamish vs. Andy: this involves various competitions between Hamish and Andy. The segment also features Ryan Shelton as a correspondent. Ultimate Wingman: Hamish struggles to find Andy a girlfriend, by acting as his wingman. Cultural Eating: introduced in Season 2, the segment involves one of the boys will offer the other an unusual local delicacy. Interviews: Hamish and Andy interviewed various celebrities either in the studio or in hotel rooms. R2 to Do: this robot featured on the show provides a list of goals for Hamish and Andy to achieve on their journey. 100-second New York lesson, taken by Ryan Shelton, where he would take the viewers on various tours of different culture and places in New York, each timed to 100 seconds. Hamish and Andy would make cameo appearances in each of the segments. Seasons: to date, 4 seasons of Hamish and Andy's Gap Year have aired. Hamish and Andy's Gap Year, Hamish and Andy's Euro Gap Year. The shows were broadcast from the fictional Lord Stanley pub in East London. Hamish and Andy's Gap Year Asia: the shows were broadcast from a bar in Bangkok, Thailand, called the Raintree. Hamish and Andy's Gap Year South America: the shows were broadcast from Buenos Aires, Argentina. They also decided to include all of Latin America, rather than just South America, so they could go to Mexico and Central America. Awards: Hamish and Andy have won 4 TV Week Logie Awards from 12 nominations for their work on Hamish and Andy's Gap Year. References: external links, official website, Hamish and Andy.